Throughout time, philosophers have asked themselves various questions. What's the point? Why do I smell weird? But most importantly, what is the greatest Sonic level of all time? Objectively, I do not think there is one, so the philosophers are pretty fucked. Sonic the Hedgehog was the brainchild of Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima, but one of those guys are in jail. It's been a weird 35 years. Since the series' inception in 1991, we've gotten heaps and loads of Sonic games ranging from pretty alright to what the fuck? But in the midst of all these games, surely there's one level from one game that reigns supreme over them all, right? Objectively, I do not think there is one, so I'm pretty fucked. But seriously, there's a lot of really good levels in the Sonic franchise, and narrowing it down to just one seems a little silly. So instead of just talking about one stage in particular, I'm gonna be talking about a couple of levels that I think are cream of the crop. Ending it off with my all-time favorite, what I think to be the best level ever. What this means is that you're watching a top 10 video disguised as something else. Enjoy, fuckers. Starting off with this stage I don't think a lot of you saw coming. First up on our list is Crisis City from Generations. Now, if you've watched some of my earlier videos, you might find this pick a little odd. When I ranked every Generation stage, this one was sort of in the middle. I didn't dislike it, but I mentioned how the platforming in it sort of felt very stop and go and led to a stage that was almost great, but in my opinion, missed the mark. Well, my thoughts on that are completely different now, as something changed in between now and then. I got better. Starting off with all the 3D sections, these are really nicely designed sections that have a really strong emphasis on platforming, all with varying speeds. The first section of platforming can be sped through with some practice, and these two sections are low-key the bane of my existence, which makes mastery of them even better. I like them. Not even sure this is the most ideal route, but I like doing this thing near the start, where I drop down to the bottom route, where this chunk of road tilts into a curve, and then slope jump off of it onto the top path. That's really fun. But the 2D is what I said I had issue with, so what changed? While I thought it was a decent section, I found the whole lava geyser gimmicks where you had to stomp on them to lower them was sort of a pace breaker. I thought that until I realized that all you have to do is stomp each mandatory geyser, which there's like 5 of, once each. Meaning you stomp, boost to the next one, stomp, boost to the next one, rinse and repeat. This quick loop feels great, and you hit them with such rapid succession that the section never overstays its welcome, and it gives it a nice little rhythm. The whole level is just tight. I don't love the tinky controls in modern Sonic, but this stage is made with those controls in mind and leads to a level that capitalizes on the player controller. Great stage. Quickly, if you do enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. If you want to go the extra mile and get early access to videos, my Patreon is in the link in the description. It's the best way to support me, so I'd love it if you could. Alright, back to it. Next up, we have Bridge Island. I knew one first stage had to be here because of how important they are, and I was really on the fence if I thought it should be this or Green Hill. But I think Bridge Island just barely beats it out for being a perfect evolution of Green Hill. Like Green Hill, this stage is an amazing introductory level that gives you somewhat basic platforming to traverse with no real obstacles or gimmicks. Just slopes, some basic enemies, and your basic spikes. Despite this, I think this stage is able to stand out on its own just because of how layered this level design is. While still somewhat basic, the stage really opens up rather quickly, leading to some really fun routing. My ideal run is hitting these speed shoes near the start and then hitting like 10 consecutive slope jumps all the way to the end. Really great stage, and Act 2 delivers on more of the same. I don't really have anything particular to say about it specifically. After this, we're back to Sonic Generations with Speed Highway Modern. Most of what I have to say about Crisis City applies here, only there's clearly less platforming here. Where this stage thrives specifically is in the constant, unending max speed you'll likely maintain throughout the entire stage at high-level play. This is probably the fastest you'll be going without being interrupted. Every section of platforming, every reaction test, literally everything is made so you never have to stop running, and that leads to a really exhilarating stage where you're given barely any breaks aside from this one chud-ass helicopter. Also, there's this one 2D section, which is, like a little slow, but who fucking, it's like 2 seconds long. That's really good. Who cares? This is not the last time you'll be seeing Sonic Superstars on this list, but our next stage is Sky Temple. For a while, I was honestly a bit iffy on the stage. Don't get me wrong, I liked it. I think I had it in A tier, so I did really like it, but after several replays, this stage is just a fucking beast. First off, the platforming in the stage, really solid. The stage-specific gimmicks lead the stage to have an incredibly unique identity. These spinning rock wheels, these fans, fucking breakout. A lot of people really don't like the breakout sections, but that's just because they're bad at it. These breakout sections are ridiculously fun to get good at, because when you actually play it like a normal person instead of trying to brute force it, you can clear each of these in under like 5 seconds, which feels tight. There's 2 of my favorite slope jumps in the series in this level, which are back-to-back and have you skip a decent amount of platforming, and God, it just feels fucking great. I love the flow of the stage. I love the platforming. Everything about it is just incredible. God bless you, Sky Temple. I knew some of you were worried where CD would be, but don't worry. It's here. Quartz Quadrant is an incredible level that features 2 extremes of verticality and horizontally. Is that how it is? Is that what it's called? Horizontally? Why doesn't that sound right? Vertically sounds right, but horizontally doesn't. Left to right, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. You've got these treadmills that send you either left or right, or up or down, depending on where the treadmill is, and you can come in contact with these little levers to change their direction. This stage is interesting because it focuses a lot on forwardness as opposed to the rest of CD, which is very up and down and all around. Getting from bottom of the stage to the top can take as little as like 5 seconds. This might be underwhelming, but out of all the stages in this list, this is the one I can articulate my love for the least. The most I can say about it is something I can say for all of CD. I love how interesting the level design is and how well it lends itself to the exploratory nature of the game. I love how it looks, sounds, and that's it. Sorry if that's a bit underwhelming. I think even with CD itself, I can articulate every other stage better. But now we reach the top 5. These, in my opinion, are the best levels throughout the franchise, which means you guys are about to get pissed when you see Sonic Superstars in here twice. Roll it in! Sand Sanctuary, baby! Fuck you! Sand Sanctuary, like most of Superstars, is ridiculously underrated. This stage teeters more in the platforming department, yet despite this, in part to Superstars' incredible platforming speed balance, the constant platforming won't stop you to a crawl. Despite the slower nature of the stage, you're still given multiple opportunities for faster gameplay by interacting with the environment. While you won't be seeing the figure 8 at likely any point of the stage, that isn't a bad thing. Sand Sanctuary is focused on platforming, and it excels extremely well in that department, while, like I said earlier, not compromising on its speed platforming balance. The level gimmicks present in the stage are great as well, featuring these snake fuckers that change the terrain you run on for a bit and require you to really pay attention to the stage. You've got these I don't know what that is. The sand geysers, which you think would be annoying, but they're handled really well, and you need to do more than just spam A to play optimally. Great stage. Next up, we have Final Rush. This one is funny because I don't really like most SA2 stages, but this one is absolutely phenomenal. This is the peak of rails in the franchise, for one thing, but the way it uses them is just brilliant. This is the most a modern Sonic game outside of Colors has truly utilized momentum. The speed you approach the rails affects your speed on them, which is important. Air dashing also gives you a lot of speed, which means you can enter rails at high speeds from the get-go. This leads to something like this section where air dashing and slope jumping are your key to success. This section right here is like one of my favorite sections in the entire series. Top 3, maybe top 1. I can't lie. There is no filler, barely any breaks in the action, just constant platforming utilizing momentum. This stage is incredible. But you thought I was done. Superstars is back one more time. Frozen Based Act 1. What I said about the platforming and speed balance earlier applies the most it ever has here. This stage has a lot of platforming with very few breaks for automation. Despite this is one of the fastest levels in the franchise at high level play and leads to a ridiculously fun stage to master. Most of it is thanks to the primary gimmick of the level, these treadmills. They can speed you up or slow you down, and during a good run, they will definitely be speeding you up. There's plenty of interesting routes you can make in the stage, tons of optimizations, and getting a good run just feels so good. I love it. This is an incredible stage. Now, my second favorite Sonic stage, I think, is Sky Sanctuary Modern. This is my favorite boost stage of all time, and I strongly believe it is the peak of what this gameplay style can offer. It capitalizes on the strengths of the boost formula, and because of this, shines where I believe very few other boost stages can. This stage offers what I feel to be the best example of a platforming and speed balance for the boost game. While I don't mind quote-unquote clunkier platforming in other stages like Crisis City, this level manages to have a good emphasis on platforming without it being somewhat clunky. There's tons of optimizations you can make, which all incentivizes platforming. The flow of the stage is amazing. The pace of the stage is amazing. It's a really good run will only last around 2 minutes, even a little bit under. That might sound too short, but when taking into consideration that those 2 minutes are full of engaging gameplay from start to finish with very little breaks in between, you realize how perfect the stage length is. Immaculate stage, and my favorite boost stage. But it's not my favorite stage, period. That honor would have to go to Collision Chaos from Sonic CD. If you've known me for a bit, this choice shouldn't really be that big of a surprise. Collision Chaos is the second zone of Sonic CD, and it's a pinball stage. Despite this, these pinball gimmicks are completely unintrusive, and if anything, act as tools for the player to do better at the stage. But what makes the stage for me is this unrivaled sense of freedom that comes with traversing this level. This level is a sandbox, which most CD stages are. Only with this one, I feel myself getting entranced more so than the others, as sometimes instead of going for a good run, I simply just spend my time engaging with the level for minutes on end, going back and forth from the start of the stage to the end for just a long amount of time until I run the clock out. It's just a lovely place to exist in. Never have I felt this free in a Sonic game before, and it's due to this masterpiece of level design that mixes platforming with Sonic's slope physics to create a level where everything simply flows together. I know that sentiment may be heavily disagreed with, and while I get it, once you learn the stage, that statement about everything flowing together is simply true. Shit like this at the start, where I slope jump off this wall upwards onto an upside down slope that puts puts me on a ceiling run state, to which I then jump back down to continue the stage, just flows. It all flows so well, and this shit is in like the first 10 seconds of the level, and it lasts for like 2. The best part is that the level throughout doesn't feel repetitive. Despite the whole theme essentially being slope interactions, not 2 sections feel the same. There's always something to experiment with, always a different route to take. It's a different experience every time, and it's one that magically only gets better with each subsequent playthrough. I could go on and on and on about this stage, and I probably will, alongside this entire game as a whole, because I need to make another CD video. That last one I made was pretty okay, but I want to touch on a certain aspect more, the freedom that the gameplay gives you. Also, that video flopped. I want a second chance. Well, what do you guys think? What's your favorite stage in Sonic? I'm really curious to hear everyone's answers, as I honestly doubt I'll see 2 of the same. This video was really fun to make, so I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. I have a Patreon where I post early access to videos, so if you want to support me the best way you can, the link's in the description. I'll see you all next time. Peace.